The 6 kinds of beings are as kind as my parents. Give me the energy for loving kindness and compassion. I've puzzled over the line, the 6 kinds of beings are as kind as my parents. Penetrating the meaning of this line has been challenging and also very intriguing to me. I really wondered how the 6 kinds of beings, which I'll go over in just a moment, are kind. And what do they have to do with my parents? And so in response to my questioning, though, over time, I've received moments of clarity seeing how the 6 realms have, in many ways, parented my awakening. That applying teachings while suffering through real life situations created the ground from which experiences of compassion were born. So rather than being overcome with fear, aversion, or judgment, the moments were really grace-filled when I was actually able to place myself in another person's life and know what it felt like to be them. And so I will do a little review of the 6 kinds of beings, which refer to those who suffer in the 6 realms of samsara. And of course, that's all of us. We're living in samsara and we go through the different realms of samsara. They're part of our human lineage and they have shaped our lives. And so we practice in order to be aware of when we enter one of these realms of samsara and to be able to witness it rather than just be taken over by it. So the first one is called the hell realm, and it's when we're overtaken with anger, hatred, rage, torment, the desire to be destructive. The hungry ghost realm is when we're driven by insatiable craving or hunger or greed. The animal realm is when we live instinctually driven by fear as a necessary means of survival. And then there's the human realm, and here we experience all the states of suffering. And we also carry the potential for awakening. And though we are prone to ignorance and suffering, the seeds of enlightenment are alive within us, ready to be nourished. And then there's the realm of the demigods. And this is when our attention becomes riveted on attaining great wealth and all that wealth can buy. And here suffering ensues from states of jealousy, competition, envy, aggression. And then there is the God realm, and this is when we feel special and believe we are above the suffering of other people and claim privilege with a sense of pride. And so I found out that the 6 kinds of beings who are as kind as my parents give me the energy for loving kindness and compassion. These lines rest on the two foundational ideas in Tibetan Buddhism. And the first one is being the idea that all beings have been my parents, and as my parents, they gave me life, cared for me, and helped me survive. And the second idea is that all beings, from the most tormented to the most fortunate, want happiness and want to avoid suffering. And so taking the point of view that all beings were once my parents who showed profound kindness toward me is actually a Buddhist practice for breaking the habit of indifference. Imagining such intimate connection with another encourages us to soften our hearts and feel toward all beings the same gratitude and tenderness we feel toward someone who raised us with love. So this is a very potent practice. And asking for the energy of loving kindness and compassion is a prayer for motivation. We are asking the awakened heart, the Buddha within, to help us overcome the pull into suffering that these 6 states exert. Practicing the teachings supports us to turn our focus from preoccupation with ourselves, our ideas of success, and our stories of victimization, to recognize and understand the suffering of others. And we study and practice to counter such habitual tendencies as indulging in irritation with difficult people, practicing favoritism towards those we like, holding indifference towards strangers, avoiding those who suffer. So making the profound shift that these lines are asking us requires commitment. And instead of fighting parts of ourselves and others, we seek to recognize samsara as our shared condition. All forms of life are vulnerable to suffering and impermanence. All develop strategies of survival. And all hold gifts which will flourish when they're recognized. And through our practice, we can come to understand our parents, as all the influences that have shaped us, including those that seem void of loving kindness. These are the parts of ourselves and of others that tried to take care of us in the only way they knew. Thus, the 6 kinds of beings are not our enemies. They arise in our lives to help us survive. As anger can be protection, and craving is a way to soothe unbearable pain, and numbness can help us endure trauma. So may we learn to meet these states of being and others who are trapped within them with understanding and with compassion. The 6 kinds of beings are as kind as my parents. Give me the energy for loving kindness and compassion is an invitation to open our hearts as we enter meditation, seeing all beings as worthy of loving kindness and compassion.